Hey guys, this is just a quick video going over an issue that I was facing with Docker on Linux, and basically that issue is it's more with Docker Compose. So I'm running Linux at the moment. I'll just show you which version. So Linux Popos, which is based on Ubuntu. So pretty much the issue that I'm running into is that when I basically want to rebuild my containers or my images using Docker Compose build, I get an error saying that basically the Docker Compose doesn't have permission to access one of our volumes during the build process. I'm not 100% sure why it needs to access one of the volumes, but yeah, it basically has a permission issue, which from my understanding is only on Linux, just because the way the file system and permissions is. So if you're on Mac, you won't have a problem, but Linux seems to have this issue. So if we go ahead and just Docker Compose this up, it'll work no problems. Alright, so basically our containers have been built, and if we go to our WordPress install, we can see that it all works and we can log in, no problem. So all the database is connected properly. However, say if I wanted to add another package, like install xdebugger, I would add xdebug here, and now to rebuild that that image, I'll just go and Docker down these, and now I'll Docker Compose try and build that image, and there you go. You can see that it's failed because it's been a permission issue with trying to access the files within one of our volumes, which is the database volumes. And basically if we're in the project root, as you can see, so if we do a list long, we can see that all these directories and files are owned by Workstation. However, the DB folder is not. So if we actually cd into DB, just do lslong, we can see that we don't have any ownership, or at least Docker Compose doesn't have any ownership over these files, and that's because they're all being generated with Docker. So if we cd back, so basically the workaround to this is it's only needed for WordPress, for Linux, and that's by adding a command, a variable here called user, and this basically is going to tell this service what permissions to run under, and from my testing, I've found that hasn't had any effect on the container's performance. And basically all you have to do is enter in the user ID and the group ID, and the easiest way to show what that is on your system is to go echo $, and UID, and that will output your UID, and same thing for group ID. And you can have these as like environment variables, where at the time of running Docker Compose you enter those values, but I'd rather just keep it in the Docker Compose file. So yeah, if we go ahead and delete our database volume, because it's just a temporary kind of store. Alright, so we've deleted our database folder or our volume. Just go ahead and recreate that, and now we'll go ahead and run Docker Compose up just to run the containers again. Alright, so if we go ahead and go to our site, we'll just go to our site, and as you can see, it's all running normally, and test that we can log in, do all the things that we can before, which it looks like we can. And now if we want to now try and do what we were trying to do before, which was rebuild the images or our Docker Compose file, And now if we say we want to not run the Xdebugger anymore, we'll just cancel that and we'll go ahead and rebuild our files. And as you can see, they've rebuilt successfully. And if we do docker compose up and go to our website, we see that everything's still working. So now if we actually have a look at what's going on in our file system, we'll just do an ls long. And as you can see, before our workstation did not own the database volume, and if we go to the db volume and just list out long there, we can see that workstation owns that volume as well. So there you go, that's just a quick tutorial or how-to onto how to fix that issue within Linux. Just a note, all you have to add is user and your user ID and your user group ID. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.